Sonic X Episode 46. Knuckles backs away, begging Chris to keep away from him because he's a shitty comedy character in the show. Chris tries to attack again, and it's lampshaded that Knuckles is running away. He just doesn't want Chris to get hurt, and he keeps dodging Chris's attacks because they'll do anything to not have an action scene. Chris says he'll have to fight Amy and Rouge next, and naturally gives up because there's no way to win against them. And Chris's dad says he has his mom's acting talent. Scarlet recognizes Stuart, and he runs away in fear, cheating us out of an interesting fight between him and Lucky. They tried so hard to make him sound comedic when he said his cover was blown. Emerl grabs and catches Tanaka's staff, and it of course doesn't have the guts to hurt its friend, and Tanaka gives up. I wonder if they're making it a personal challenge to have as little hits in these action scenes as possible. Rouge and Amy at least get 2 hits, but they're both in freeze frame, with them running into each other head first. So I don't feel like that matters. Rouge wins already after just 2 attacks. Seriously, why bother making this tournament arc? I went through 3 fights in 1 paragraph. Sonic runs after Eggman's robots, and Eggman says that if he wants to keep up with him, he can't because he can fly. I like his line here. Lucky can't fight as he uses up his power supply moving around beeping, and Emerl is already declared the winner. This is so dumb. I guess his luck ran out specifically because it ran out of power. Or maybe the luck was, I don't have to get hurt by fighting him. Rouge decides to outsmart Knuckles because he's a terrible character in the show, and so that'll be possible. She says she'll settle this in private, and somehow this is allowed by the rules of the competition. They're put in a dark black tent and she fights him, and I realize that this is happening purely so the animators don't have to animate them fighting each other. And why is Tails allowed to comment with Scarlet? It's even said that they don't know who's winning, so how is this allowed? Tails at least justified Rouge winning by saying she has sonar in the dark, so logically she should be the one who wins. And I like that she falls over all bruised, and Knuckles really is the winner. But come on, while that is good karma against her for humiliating Tails and Knuckles, will it kill them to make her a competent character? Eggman compares Sonic to bubblegum he sat on, and arbitrarily flies his Eggmobile towards Sonic just so the writer can force Sonic to be able to destroy it, and send Eggman away flying, where he somehow won't die from the fall. That's so stupid. All of Knuckles' attacks against Emerl are shown in freeze frame. Emerl spins because apparently he's just fine with fighting Knuckles, but not Ellen Tanaka. He sends Knuckles headfirst into the ground from the spin dash and humiliates him, kicking him away. Good, there's consequences because Rouge is bandaged up. Cream throws a hanky at Knuckles, and the referee thinks that the hanky was a white flag, according to Cream. Knuckles says he did quit, and Cream feels better knowing they didn't lose the match because of her. Knuckles offers to shake hands with Emerl, and says that he was just worn out from Rouge earlier. It was oddly respectable of him to do that for this show. And I love that they justified him losing properly. I hate that they call Emerl ML. They can't even pronounce his name right. That's how horribly off he is in this show. Emerl is going to be given the Chaos Emerald by the President, so I guess this will be what drives him crazy, makes him go evil, because that's what happened in the game. That's why unoriginality sucks, because you know what's going to happen ahead of time. But considering how horribly boring he is in the show, he deserves what's coming to him. He never talked, so he doesn't have a personality. So he's not a character. He might as well look completely different. Of course, he starts glowing and threatening music plays. I already know who will stop him by this point because I was spoiled on it. I mean, at least this was an extremely original Sonic battle adaptation. He causes a bunch of destruction for no logical reason at all. Seriously, why did Gerald Robotnik program him to go crazy when he got a Chaos Emerald? Just one at that, not even all of them. He spin dashes away Rouge, who's no longer injured, and humiliates Knuckles too. That reminds me, they never explained that Gerald made this robot, or found it with the echidnas either. Sonic has to save Vanilla, and of course Amy will probably be humiliated because she's trying to be useful in this show. She keeps trying to attack with her hammer, but then he steals it, and Sonic has to bail her out. Cream gets Emerald's attention, and Sonic has to bail her out. There's no logical reason for why Emerald's acting like this, it's just dumb writing. You see the city's rows and buildings damaged and panicking people. Chuck wonders if his memory unit was reprogrammed by the Emerald. At least they're good at making Cream sound scared. Eggman says Emerald was built a long time ago as a combat robot, and the Emerald reminded him of who he really is. Of what he really is. How? That was mean of Chaos Energy to do. Emerald shows up to Sonic, and Knuckles wants to be useful too, spinning around in a tornado. The tornadoes meet pointlessly. I at least like that Knuckles says he was adding a little twist. Emerald and Knuckles are matched blow for blow with the same force, and Sonic says he can't win. Naturally, because Knuckles is a worthless comedy character who shouldn't exist in the show. Why was he not with the Emerald? Amy lampshades that Sonic saved her again, and gets embarrassed saying she didn't need saving. It's really embarrassing to the characters in the show that Sonic keeps needing to save his friends. I don't remember this being the case in Archie, post the 50s at least. Even in SDC, we see Knuckles and Sonic attack Emerald, but again, it's in a lengthened freeze frame that takes you out of it entirely, so who cares? Chris somehow knows that Emerald's leading Sonic to the sea. How does Emerald know Sonic hates the water already? And Rouge can't keep up because she's a worthless comedy character in the show too. She was never this incompetent in any other continuity. Sonic has to be caught from falling by Cream, who starts flying for the first time ever in the show. And she saves Knuckles from the water too. It's sad it took this long for her to do something that really mattered. She calls out Emerald for attacking her friends, tells them to promise not to hurt anyone else, and for no reason, Emerald only briefly returns to normal before freezing in place. Sonic talks like he's in pain, saying he's almost as tough as him, and that was a close one. I'm so confused. Sonic's talking as if... I'm getting the idea in my head that he was stabbed, but that required guts, so that can't be it. Why did he say that was close if he got hurt anyways? Emerald gets knocked away, and Cream is finally written to try to be a badass. Chuck says that Emerald will be overwhelmed if everyone gangs up on him because he can only copy one person at a time. Sonic says no, because this show has crappy action scenes. So instead, he thinks he should let Cream and Cheese handle this. Yeah, let the little girl who does nothing but watch TV and a cute little Chow fight a killing machine alone. Even though she's clearly got an emotional attachment to it, as we see with the show reusing footage again. I feel like the only reason Sonic turned down the plan was a lack of faith in his friends, and meta logic. Cream knocks Emerald to the ocean, he sees her crying, somehow Emerald cries tears too and sinks into the water. I guess I expected too much of the show when I assumed he'd be caused visible damage and be reduced to pieces. Instead, he's just sent into the water. It was at least a genuinely sad scene with Cream crying, but why was there a water spout? I'm so confused. Is it because Emerald exploded? Why? Aside from her jumping on him once, she never landed a hit on him. That's not a fight. That can basically sum up the whole tournament right there. They didn't bother making fights. Even when the characters did fight, they only got like one hit in. I'm not sure what's more to blame. Lazy censorship, destroying the point of making an action series? Well, because we can't have the characters hit each other. Or the animators being too lazy to make a good action scene. Even when there was a decently sized fight, there was a bunch of freeze frames instead of the show keeping you invested in the fight. Every single time that happens, it's really distracting and looks cheap. This isn't a proper tournament arc. Emerald had no logical reason to go berserk. From just one Chaos Emerald at that. They really sped things up from the game. So he was the most forced villain ever. And of course they didn't have him talk and show personality like in the game either. Destroying the point of including him in the show. At that point I was wondering why I was expected to be attached to the character. And it was very forced that any of the heroes liked Emerald and let him stick around them when he was just a creepy robot who never talked to them at all. They should have just thought he was one of Eggman's robots and dismantled him for spare parts. Not that Tails even engineers enough to justify that. I think the only thing he's worked on in the show was planes. Bottom line is, they wasted Emerald's character and all of the fight scenes were lame. I got cynical about this arc for a reason.